Finding new business. November 2nd, 2023 Casa Grande Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. Please join me for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Okay, so roll call, please.
Member Aldrich?
Here.
Member Vanderhayden?
Here.
Member Hubbard?
Here.
Member Peters?
Here.
Member Estrada?
Here.
Vice Chair Garza?
Here.
Chairman Benedict?
Here. Okay, any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Mr. Chair, but I would like to make an announcement for those in the audience who might be here for the Florence Boulevard project, that we do not have that on the agenda tonight to brief the commission on that project. That will be scheduled for a future meeting. But if anyone wants to get information about the project or make public comments, you can go to the city website under the Planning and Development Department, Special Projects, and we have information there, and we also have an email that you can submit comments. The email is florenceboulevard@casagrandeaz.gov. So if you want to make comments, you can do so there. You can get information, and we will be holding a public hearings on the project at some point in the near future, but we'll make sure there's plenty of public notice of those. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. Commissioners, we have 2 sets of minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to
Yes.
make a motion
Yes.
that the commission approve the minutes of the meeting of October 5th and a special meeting of October 19th, 2023.
Second.
Very good. Got a first and a second. Any discussion? Today, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Any opposed? Very good. Okay, the next section is where we open up for public comments. Anybody from the public that would like to address the commission on general topics, not on the specific things that we're going to be acting on this evening. You'll have a chance to do that as we bring up those subjects. If there's anything that the public would like to address the commission on, again, as a general nature, not on the specific items. We'll have time for those later. Okay, Clear as mud? All right. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting. Next is our consent agenda. A couple of items on our consent agenda. And for those are, we will, on those two, DSA, actually, I guess there's three. Yeah, two subjects, DSA 230092 and 0018-00260. For those two, we can act on them in one group, and there'll be no separate discussion for those items unless a commission member or member of the public wants to hear that presentation about those items. If anybody's here that wants to address that, please let us know. Any of those first two items, F1 and F2. Anybody from the public want to address those, please let us know. Commissioners, do you want to pull any of those?
No.
Okay. Back to you, commissioners. I need a motion, please.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion
Thank you.
to approve the consent agenda.
Very good. I have a motion.
Second.
A second. Okay. Want to call the roll?
Member Aldred?
Thank you.
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. Okay, on to our new business. First order of business, we'll be holding a public hearing, consider a request by Rose Law Group for land use approvals, 186 acres in Casa, Grande, Maricopa Highway, west of Bianco Road, for DSA 2300-158 and DSA 2300-159. Joe?
Thank you, Commissioner. This will be a little bit of deja vu for those that were in attendance in our last meeting in October. This is the second hearing, required hearing by state statute for general plan amendments. We will add some information on the zoning at this hearing as well, though. Rose Law Group is requesting a major general plan amendment to amend the land use category from neighborhoods to manufacturing and industry, and a major amendment to a planned area development to amend the land use to allow for mining for approximately 186 acres of land generally located north of Casa Grande Highway, or Casa Grande Maricopa Highway, and west of Bianco Road. It's abutting the existing mine. So, as you know, Arizona Sonoran Copper Company has been working to reopen the Sacatone mine. They're renaming it as the Cactus Mine. In 2021, a major general plan amendment and PAD zoning was processed and approved to expand the boundaries of the mine. A second zone change request was approved in September of this year, adding 333 acres. This request is to further expand the mine boundary by completing a major amendment to the general plan and the accompanying zone change called the Cactus Mine PAD 3. You can see Cactus Mine is in the center of your screen there. That's actually lays within the county. Then you see the outline of the Cactus Mine 1, which actually surrounds all the county line and the entire mine. Cactus Mine 2 is just north of where this site is, and then you can see the site that we'll be discussing tonight. In regards to the general plan, these are the review criteria that we follow. All have been covered in your staff report. We're just going to hit on one tonight. And it's describe in detail how any of the general plan goals and or action steps are achieved by the proposed amendment. And I'll just kind of pull these up because they all pretty much relate to each other. Goal MI1, provide and expand the manufacturing and industry land use areas to accommodate a variety of industries. Action step to that, 1.1, is identify locations where it would be beneficial to increase the manufacturing and industry areas within the city. Goal MI3 is promote diversified types of industries and uses. Goal MI5, encourage appropriate and responsible industrial development in appropriate locations. In general, this is just saying that let's do manufacturing and industry in appropriate locations, and let's bring in a variety of different industries. Mining, as you know, is part of the history of Casa Grande, but it's gone away recently, so this is now proposing to come back into reality, and you'll see some other mining operations that might also approach. But it makes complete sense to add this particular area as manufacturing and industry, as it's an expansion of the existing mine that's already there. We'll move into the PAD zoning review criteria, and we cover the following criteria. Again, all of it's been covered in your staff report. You've seen other zonings from the same group. It's relatively the same zoning, it's just going in pieces right now. So this will be the third piece, and most likely the final piece of this zoning. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the relationship with the plan elements to conditions both on and off the property. A couple images you see, like waste rock storage and tailings piling. That's part of the mining operation, and that's what sits out there today. So when we look at that, we want to just make sure that we're mitigating any of those impacts as much as possible. And you can see in all the zonings that we've processed before, we've put large buffer areas to make sure that we're not impacting abutting land and properties. And you can see in this one, we've got a 1,000-foot buffer along Maricopa Casa Grande Highway, and you can see it highlighted in red there, where we limit what uses can go into that area, and then we limit the slope. So we limit the impact on that entryway corridor into the city. In regards to notification, we met or exceeded all requirements. We did not receive any comments on this particular request. So in conclusion, staff recommends the commission forward a recommendation to approve DSA 23-00158, a major general plan amendment to amend the land use category from neighborhoods to manufacturing and industry for 186 acres of land generally located north of Casa Grande, Maricopa Highway, and west of Bianco Road. And staff recommends the commission forward a recommendation to approve DSA 23-00159, a major amendment to a planned area development to amend the land use to allow for mining for that same site. That does have one following condition, which is our standard right-of-way condition that we put on all zone changes. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Commissioners, questions for staff?
None.
All right. Seeing none, would the applicant or their representative like to come forward and address the commission? Please give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Commissioners. Omar Abdallah with Rose Law Group, 7144 East Stetson Drive in Scottsdale. Here on behalf of my client, Arizona Sonoran Copper Company. And with me today is Travis Snyder on the executive team at Arizona Sonoran. Just wanted to say thank you. We appreciate your time and the opportunity, and we are happy to answer any questions you might have.
Good. Any questions for them? Very good. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So now I'll open the public portion of the meeting. Anybody from the public like to address this issue, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting and bring it back to the commission.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
That'd be great.
I move that the commission forward a recommendation to approval to the city council of both requests by Rose Law Group,
Let's do one at a time.
covered under general plan, land use category from neighborhoods to manufacturing and industry, covered under DSA-23-00158.
Very good.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Audrette?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. And one more.
I'd like to continue that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We forward a recommendation to the city council to approve the major amendment to planned area development covered under DSA-23-00159.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Member Aldred?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Next, we'll have a public hearing and consider a request by George McGavin for 22 acres located west of Schultz Street and North Cottonwood Lane, DSA 230088 and DSA 21-00214. All right. Joe again.
Thank you. George McGavin is requesting a conditional use permit to allow for recreational vehicles in a manufactured home park exceeding 10% of the total spaces, and a major site plan for a 124-unit manufactured home park on approximately 22 acres of land. It's generally located west of Schultz Street and north of O'Neill. You can see the site location here. This proposed manufactured home park development will have an internal connection to the underdeveloped Buttes at Sundance, which is just directly to its north. It will also add an additional gated emergency access entrance from Schultz Street. The 124-unit development will be phase one of a proposed expansion of the park. Phase two will include an additional 87 units, which you can see on the screen will be just to the south of where you're seeing their overlay currently laying. In regards to the conditional use permit, the code requires that designated spaces within a mobile home community may be set aside for recreational vehicle use, subject to the site plan review. But the spaces aren't to exceed 10% of the total number of spaces unless a conditional use permit allowing a greater percentage is obtained. And they are requesting to use almost all the spaces at this site as a sales tool to have RVs come in, and then once the site RVs leave and they build a manufactured home on the site, it won't ever revert back. So the conditional use permit's requesting that ability to use the majority of the spaces in the park for recreational vehicles. Staff has requested that any perimeter space abutting or visible from existing single-family homes or the multifamily sites that surround it be excluded from this request. The goal of the applicant is to have a stream of income from the rental of the RV spaces. In regards to the review criteria, we cover the following five review criteria for a CUP. We'll just hit on one tonight. And again, that is that the proposed use will have no adverse effect on abutting property. You can see here the layout of the park in conjunction with the to the north of it's Desert Sky, single-family residential. You also have single-family residential across from Schultz Street. And so all those perimeter spaces are not able to be used or not eligible for an RV site. We believe that that will be enough to make sure that there's no adverse effect on abutting property. Moving into the major site plan review criteria, all has been covered in your staff report. We'll just hit on the three tonight. And the first is the relationship of the plan elements to conditions both on and off the property. The property is located south of the currently under construction Buttes at Sundance and is considered an expansion of that existing park. It also sits within a corridor of existing and future manufactured home parks. And to kind of outline that, you can see the highlighted in yellow is the existing parks that have been around for quite some time now. You see in the orange are developing parks or almost fully developed parks as the Buttes at Sundance pieces. And then in the green is also zoned currently for R4 or manufactured home parks. So we have along that Thornton corridor is a corridor of manufactured home parks. So the proposed use is appropriate to conditions both on and off the property. In regards to pedestrian and vehicular ingress and egress, the primary interest of this park will be located off of Thornton Road, and through the developing Buttes at Sundance Manufactured Home Park, there will be a proposed emergency access gate entrance from Schultz Street. As a technical modification, staff is requesting that the major site plan be modified to illustrate the provision of sidewalks on at least one side of each street, and that sidewalk system create a logical network for pedestrian use. And expanding on that, we have the review criteria of conformance to the city's general plan, and some of those directly relate to pedestrian access. So goal CC1 is transition community corridor areas to become more pedestrian and bicycle friendly. Action step 1.3 is promote site design guidelines that ensure pedestrian safety. CC-4.2, allow manufactured home communities to be constructed with appropriate site design features, including easy pedestrian access to and from the development. Encourage residential site design to engage the public street, including pedestrian connections. Safely separate pedestrians from vehicular traffic. Encourage pedestrian connectivity within and between developments. And then we have have a site design standard that development shall provide direct pedestrian access for residents to public sidewalks. Building design standards also address it by saying residential development should have strong relationship with adjacent streets and sidewalks. So we think that justifies the request for sidewalks in this case. In looking at the sidewalk connectivity, the applicant has worked with us in regards to this, and they've been very open in sharing their thoughts on this matter. Their proposed network is highlighted in the green here, which kind of eliminates some of the areas and some of the units from having good pedestrian access. So the city's requesting that we do something that looks more like this, which doesn't expand it by much. And the two highlighted buildings there are going to be rec centers. Well, one's up in the park that's being built right now, and then the second one will come in phase 2 of this park. So we do want to encourage pedestrian access to that from a safety standpoint. In regards to notification on this item, we met or exceeded all requirements of the city code. We did receive one letter, and it was concerned with traffic at Viola and Schultz and O'Neill and Pinal. It was also concerned with their property values, and it also contained a letter from the previous request of the Buttes at Sundance with similar concerns. In regards to the recommendation, staff recommends the commission approve the conditional use permit and associated resolution to allow for recreation vehicles in a mobile home park exceeding 10% of the total spaces, provided with the following conditions. Recreation vehicle, including park models, shall be limited to spaces as indicated on the attachment. Recreational vehicles shall be limited to a maximum stay of 6 months. No accessory structures over 200 square feet are allowed at spaces with recreational vehicles, and no permanent utility hookups permitted for recreational vehicles. And then the second recommendation, staff recommends the commission approve the major site plan to allow for 124 unit manufactured home park with the following technical modification, and that is to revise the site plan to illustrate the provision of sidewalks on at least one side of each street, and that the sidewalk system create a logical network for pedestrian use. Happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, any questions for staff? No. Joe, as you know, there are a lot of parks, I think, there are some parks that don't have sidewalks. Can you address a little bit, okay, well, you know, where are we moving to? Is this something that we're, the direction that we're trying to move, or what brings it about on this
Sure.
particular one?
Yeah,
I guess is my question.
A lot of it has to do with the passing of the 2030 general plan. We put a large emphasis on pedestrian connectivity in that general plan. The typical standards for R4 zoning district right now do not have that requirement in them. All other zone districts within our city does have that requirement in them to provide public sidewalks. There is an exception for heavy industrial subdivisions, but again, at the passing of the 2030 general plan really pushed forward this thought of pedestrian connectivity and safety throughout the community. We felt that these manufactured home parks that we've approved in the past prevent somewhat of a safety issue. They're going to be an active adult community. The age of the residents is up a little bit. The applicant did make a lot of valid points in their request to not have the sidewalks, and we took those into account. We just feel that this is a compromise to do it on one side of the street, not on both sides of the street. And we do really want to kind of push this pedestrian connectivity throughout the entire city.
Yeah, great. No, I appreciate that, and you're right about, I agree that that's where general plan has moved, the direction that has moved us toward. Thank you. Anything else for staff?
Would there be like any bike routes, like to the different mobile home parks, like they could ride their bikes?
Excuse me?
Like, is
What's
there
the
like,
question?
would there be, looks like they're gonna do phase 1, phase 2, and then there's other mobile home parks. Do we have something for like bike packs so they can ride their bikes easily, or are we taking that into consideration at all?
We do have a trail plan for the entire city.
Yeah.
And in fact, right just north of this, you can see there's like a 50-foot gap between their property and the property to the north with the single-family homes, and that runs all the way up to Dave White Park.
Okay.
And so there's a chance, that's actually part of our Casa Grande trails plan, master
Okay.
plan, so there will be that type of amenity located nearby when the city gets around to constructing that.
Okay, just wondering. Nice.
Very good. Anything else for staff? Okay, seeing none, would the applicant or their representative like to come forward and address this issue?
Good evening. My name is John Gillespie. I'm an attorney with the law firm Pugh & Lake in Mesa, 1744 South Val Vista in Mesa. I represent George McGavin, who is the owner and developer of this site. Grateful to staff. Their presentation, I think, really encompassed things pretty well. Regarding the sidewalk issue, we've been going back and forth a little bit with staff with some considerations on the pedestrian connections. We appreciate that dialogue, and we're happy to comply with this condition that staff has, as it's been presented. One item on it that I wanted to just clarify with the commission and with staff was the timing of the installation of that sidewalk. We discussed with staff the possibility that the sidewalk is installed when the pouring of the driveway for the manufactured home is installed, as opposed to the temporary use for RVs that's going to happen prior to that. So we'd ask that that be considered to be put on the record, that the pouring of the sidewalk occurs when the mobile home development and driveway is installed. So I'd ask staff if that's in their understanding of how it would work.
I think, yeah, that would be an acceptable standard for us. That's typically how we would construct sidewalks, often with single-family homes, is in conjunction with the construction of the home and the driveway. So although it leaves gaps in the sidewalk system, typically these manufactured home parks fill up fairly quickly, so staff would be comfortable with that proposal.
Okay. Good. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a
Anything
question.
else? Yeah.
I have a question. So we're going to have a lot of short-term people in that park and stuff. What is, in your planning thoughts, what is build out? How many years are we thinking before it fills up, or it's more manufactured home versus RVs?
I'll
What are they
turn to my
thinking?
client because George has developed several parks here in the city.
Okay.
I want to make a guess that it's about a 10-year time frame when that full build-out happens, but I'll defer if George has a time frame of, it can take 5 to 10 years.
That's what
for
you're
the
planning, when
full
you're in your
build-out
plans, okay.
to occur.
Okay. Anything else, Commissioners? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys working with the staff.
Yes, thank you.
That's helpful. Anyone from the public like to address this issue, please come forward. Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting and bring it back to the commission.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit DSA 23-00088 and associated resolution with the following conditions.
Very good. I have a motion.
Second?
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldrete,
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden,
Yes.
Member Hubbard,
Yes.
Member Peters,
Aye.
Member Estrada,
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza,
Aye.
Chairman Benedict.
Yes. Okay, got one more.
Chair, I'd like to make,
Thank you so much.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the major site plan DSA-21-0214 to allow for a 124-unit manufactured home park with the following technical modification.
Very good. I got a motion.
Second.
Pick one. Okay. I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldrete,
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden,
Yes.
Member Hubbard,
Yes.
Member Peters,
Aye.
Member Estrada,
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza,
Aye.
Chairman Benedict.
Yes. Thank you. Good luck with the project. Appreciate it. Okay. Next, we'll do a hearing and consider a request from Peter Holden for property zone PAD-RV near the northwest corner of Casa Grande Avenue and Silver Reef, DSA 23-00210, and the major site plan DSA 23-0026. And let's do those two. You going to do the whole presentation, or we're going to do?
Yes, it also includes the R4 piece from
Very good.
TSA.
So also the major site plan for the 161 DSA unit manufactured home DSA 23-0027. We good?
Yep.
All right, Jacqueline.
Look at you.
Talk to us.
All right, good evening, Commission. So this request has 3 parts. The first part is the PAD-RV major amendment. This to update the circulation plan of the site, as well as address technical corrections per the zone change, as well as the major site plan for the RV PAD area. This is for a 243-unit recreational vehicle site on 25 acres. It's located near the northwest corner of Casa Grande Avenue and Silver Reef Road. This is shown on the map on the southern portion. And it is zoned PAD RV and has a density of approximately 9.7 DUs per acre. The third request is for a major site plan for the R4 portion located closer to Courtson Road. It's a 161-unit manufactured home park on 22.5 acres, again zoned R4, and is at 7.2 dwelling units per acre. I did want to note that there is a B2 component to the overall site located also along Courtson to the west of the R4 piece that is not a part of this request. That would come at a later date. And I did also want to note that while these are all 2 separate major site plan requests, there is some interconnection between the 2. So like the staff report, I will kind of be going in and out and hopefully will address any questions and you may have. So with that, here's the PAD review criteria. These are addressed in the staff report. However, due to the nature of this request, I will be covering the pedestrian vehicle egress portion of this. So per the original PAD, RV circulation plan provided an internal roadway connecting Courtson to Casa Grande Avenue with access for all 3 sites, including the B2 parcel. The current proposal has a main access point for Courtson Road and emergency access only off of Silver Reef. As well, the black line kind of shows the circulation plan going north and south. And while staff is supportive of this change, we do have concerns with access to the B2 parcel, which I will get into a little further on the technical corrections. Regarding the major site plan review criteria, I'll be covering the ones highlighted here. The staff report goes into additional detail. Regarding traffic and parking conditions, there will be half-street improvements to Courtson Road, Casa Avenue, as well as Silver Reef. Silver Reef will also include some portions that will include full access near the park that does not have access at all, and it will connect west and east Silver Reef as shown on the red line there. There will also be a right turn lane on Courtson Avenue, sidewalks along Casa Avenue shown in red. And also per the TIA, there were off-site improvements needed at Courtson Road and Pinal Avenue due to unacceptable levels of service. So there will be a right turn lane on westbound Courtson Road. This is kind of shown in yellow on the map. The applicant will be able to request traffic impact fee offsets to offset the cost beyond the developments of their fair share. And also, I wanted to note that per the TIA analysis, a traffic signal is currently not warranted at the intersection of Casa Avenue and Courtson Road, but will be provided with the development of the Elaine's Farm subdivision. Regarding parking, both the RV PUD meets the criteria of 2 spaces per lot and 1 space for every 5 lots. And then the major site plan for the R4 piece meets the 2 spaces per lot and on-street park, as well as on-street parking. This is just a visual for Silver Reef Road that was shown in the original zone change request, showing the additional right-of-way as well as the landscaping and wall. Again, like Joe just presented, we did want to also include technical correction to revise the site plan to illustrate the provisions of sidewalks on at least one side of each street, and that the sidewalk system creates a logical network for pedestrian use in the R4 portion. Similar to Joe's, it is not shown on the site plan. And with the conformance to the city's general plan, this is noted within the 2030 general plan update, and within the community corridor, we want to promote pedestrian environments. That also includes manufactured home communities to be constructed with appropriate site design features, including easy pedestrian access to and from development. Anything else? Regarding drainage, I wanted to address this a little bit because there were some concerns from the original zoning as well as emails I received. As you're all aware, there is an existing drainage channel from Casa Avenue to Courtson Road, shown in these images. The development will maintain the off-street channel through the site, shown in green, as well as the site will maintain the developed flows through the proposed basins. And this will be addressed through the site development plans. I did want to know a little bit on the zoning ordinance per the zone change conditions of approval. Along Silver Reef, it was noted to have ground set park models and this is shown in yellow and is part of the major site plan. Here are some elevations of the community center. And then I did want to touch a little bit about the open space and landscaping requirements. Again, per the zone change, a 20-foot trail easement is required along Silver Reef and to the west side of the property, as shown in green here. That is shown on the site plan. And I did want to show that this connects the existing spur trail that was put in as part of the Spanish Trail project through the park as well, and it will connect through this site up to Courtson and eventually through the Lane Farm spur trail and to the Santa Cruz trail, linear trail that. And again, this is just a little highlight of the open space landscaping along the trail within the RV portion. Regarding notification efforts, notice of applications and review were sent in March of this year, and notices were sent as part of this public hearing. As part of the applications and review, I did receive 2 emails. One had concerns regarding the lack of half street improvements and sidewalks along the north side of Silver Reef, as well as drainage concerns. The second email had concerns with PAD zoning in general, and did not give a specific concern with the major site plan. I also did receive one additional email that was passed out to you tonight regarding drainage and landscaping, and I think the presentation addressed all of those concerns. So with that, staff recommends the commission approve PAD RV major amendment, DSA 23-00210, along with the major site plan for the RV site with the following technical modifications and conditions of approval as noted here. And regarding the R4 portion, it does also include the request to address the sidewalks on at least one side of each street, that the sidewalk system create logical networks for pedestrian. Happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Okay, commissioners, questions for staff? Can you go back to your little diagram of the drainage?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's in conjunction with, I guess is the way, the landscaping.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, the landscaping would be through that
Yes.
drainage. Okay. All right, thank you. That was my, trying to understand.
It's all right. We're good.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, would the applicant or their representative please come address the commission?
Good evening. My name is Kevin McDougall, 4624 East Maryland Road, Phoenix, Arizona. I'm the engineer for the project. Been working on the design for a long time. I want to say thank you to staff for presenting it, and thank you to the commission for hearing this case. To talk about a couple issues, the drainage, we studied that, and the original channels, I'm going to say, has an 8-foot bottom, and I believe these vary, but they're probably 20 to 50 foot wide. So basically the thought is to capture the water that comes through and let some of it percolate into the ground. And as it flows, basically, if we're looking at the L part of the green area, it basically flows from in a reverse direction from east to north is the natural drainage. The sidewalk issue is new to us in the last 24 hours. So I've talked with the owner, and he's willing to accept that provision of the one side sidewalks. He'd like to know if he can get the same provision as the previous case and have it built as the units come online. That's question number one. And question number two is, how wide would the sidewalks have to be? And question number three is can they be included in the setbacks? And I will sit down and come back up if there's additional questions or comments.
Oh, go ahead and let him.
So let me address those questions for you, Kevin. One, it's acceptable to construct the sidewalks when the driveways are being built to access each site. So when you're pouring the drive, you can pour the sidewalks. 2, the sidewalks should be 4 feet wide, minimum width. 3, they can be put on the site. They can be put outside of your road track if you want, and put on the actual properties. We'll need like a public sidewalk easement, but they certainly can be put on the private sites and in the setback, if you will, of the front yard.
That's good. That's good because it doesn't affect our layout that we're asking for approval on.
Okay, good.
Any further questions for me?
Oh, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
So I'll open the public portion of the meeting. Anybody from the public like to address this issue, please come forward.
Good evening and thank you. Name is Nancy Wood. Address is 513 East Beckel Road, Casa Grande, Arizona. And the reason I came up was to address the drainage in this property. And I appreciate all the compromises and the work that the owner and the city has done with some of the changes. They seem to be coming along and doing improvements with what was started. I still have concerns over the amount of water that goes through their property. And it's a challenge for them, and it's a challenge for the city, and I think it's actually a challenge for ADOT, because the drainage goes down Quartzon to Pinal, and then down Pinal to the Santa Cruz. And having lived in the area for a long time, Casa Grande Avenue is basically a wash during storms and can be flooded from sidewalk to sidewalk, where it overflows the sidewalks and into people's yards. So there can be a huge amount of water over a short period of time that comes through that area. And anything that would back up, I know they've had to go and dredge that property on a routine basis just to keep it from backing up and flooding back up Casa Grande Avenue and some of the other streets like Cadota, O'Neill, Veckel, which is the street that I have property on. The water can get from edge to edge and up into the property. I've had as much as 3 inches of water and land on my property alone in some of these storms. So an enormous amount of water can come down Casa Grande Avenue and go through their property to the Santa Cruz Wash. So I see, I'm just concerned that there's not really enough thought through on how much water can actually go through there, because I've seen water actually even back up along Quartzon, where it overflows across Quartzon into the northern area where the bus barn is, and it gets backed up during really, really heavy rains. So I don't know how they're going to address that area between Pinal and the property on Quartzon, because that area backs up and floods and holds water for a long period of time. So I was hoping that in conjunction with the city, the property owners, and probably ADOT, because they have the canal that goes down along Pinal that gets backed up with debris and trash and stuff in those cement canals, which are not satisfactory. So I'm hoping that the central part of that property doesn't seem like it's really adequate for the amount of water that's going to go through there. And I hope they would open it up and really address how much water could actually flow through there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address this issue? Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting. Bring it back to the commissioners.
Mr. Commissioner, I just want to say that after hearing we have the mobile RV corridor on Thornton Road, I'm having a little trouble approving another RV mobile place more into the city. So after we just heard we talk about we have a corridor along Thornton, and now we're moving one over a little bit further, and I'm just having a little trouble with that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anything else? Commissioners? Chris, see you're concerned. Is there something you can share with us?
No, I'm fine.
Mr. Chair, if I could maybe address the comment regarding the zoning on this.
That'd be great.
I just want to remind the commission that this property has already been zoned for both manufactured homes and an RV park with a past decision by the commission. So the amendment to the PAD is really just to change the alignment of the internal street and not any of the land uses. So it's already, that's why this isn't going to council, because the land uses have already been approved for the manufactured home and the RV park by both the commission and council. So in a sense, that ship has kind of sailed. I can appreciate your comment and understand the concern, but this evening, we're just really looking at an amendment to change the internal street alignment to terminate it from going to Casa Grande Avenue and to approve the major site plan that implements the existing zoning.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that the commission approve the PAD RV Major Amendment DSA-23-00210.
Okay.
Oh, there is no, forget it. Forget it.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
No. The motion is as spoken.
All right, I have a motion.
Second.
Well, probably the shortest motion we've had in a long time. Well done. And a second. Any discussion about the motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldred?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard? Yes. Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
I just wanted to give the staff some kudos. This was some compromise with the traffic concerns and the TIA, so I just wanted to, that was some great work by staff working with the property owner. My vote's aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. Okay, that motion passes unanimous. We have another couple here.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like
Thank
to
you.
continue with recommending that the commission approve the major site plan DSA-23-00026 with the following technical modification and condition of approval as stated by staff.
Very good. I have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldred?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. And I think we have one more.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to recommend that the commission approve a major site plan DSA-23-00027 with the following technical modification and condition of approval. As
Very-
in staff.
Very good. We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldred?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate you guys working with us.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're on G4.
I think so.
So next, we'll hold a public hearing and consider zone change from garden and light industrial to multifamily residential R2, DSA 23-00199. Jacqueline.
All right, good evening, Commission, again. So this site is located on 3rd Avenue and Mercedes, 410 West 3rd Street. It's a request to rezone from I-1 light industrial to R2 multifamily residential. Here's the zone change review criteria outlined in the staff report. Regarding the general plan, one of the goals of the downtown area is to focus on reintroducing housing and residential opportunities to the downtown area, and this is directly within the action step to be proactive with infill development in neighborhoods near downtown. That the rezoning conforms to the general plan if it proposes land uses, densities, or intensities within the range of or identified uses of the general plan. The requested zoning of R2 is an appropriate zoning district in the downtown land use category, and this also is, will be introducing additional residential development and as well, and that the proposed zone change is necessary and proper at this time to meet the land use needs of the residents of the city. Zone change to R2 will allow the site to be developed as an infill residential development and add residential to the existing neighborhood. So as you can see, the R2 is all around it. There's just the little bit of I-1 that continues east of Mercedes. I do also want to note that this also conforms with the new House Bill 2574, and that before adopting any zoning ordinance or zoning ordinance text amendment, that the legislative body look at a housing impact statement, and that includes these three things outlined in the staff report. I just want to note that this is a request by the property owner and is a zone change from an industrial zoning that does not allow residential development to a residential zone district that allows both single-family duplexes and multifamily residential uses. For example, an R3 zoning district would allow an increase in density, but would likely result in higher construction costs associated with a multi-story building, as well as having higher impact fees due to the more intense land use activity. However, R3 zoning would not be compatible with the surrounding properties and neighborhood scale and would not be supported by staff. So the R2 zoning district is the best zoning district for the site and will result in the provisions of additional attainable housing in the downtown area. Regarding notification efforts, meets or exceeded all the requirements laid out in the code. I did not receive any comments or inquiries. So with that, staff recommends the commission forward a recommendation of approval to City Council for the zone change request, DSA 23-00199, from garden light industrial I-1 to residential multifamily R2, with the following condition of approval. Happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Very good. Commissioners, any questions for staff?
Bless you.
Seeing none, would the applicant or their representative like to come forward and address the commission, please?
Hello, my name is Wesley Cash, and I'm the owner of this property. I'm located at 8744 East Vietas Norte in Scottsdale, Arizona. Thanks to Jacqueline for all her help and assistance with the presentation and for all the work to get the zoning rechanged. I think it'll be a good change for the neighborhood, from staring at outhouses for the last several years to back to some neighbors and some R2 properties, so thanks.
Okay. Any commissioners, any questions? All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming up. So now I'd like to open the public portion of the meeting. Anybody like to address this issue, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of this meeting, bring it back to this issue. Meeting. Anyway, bring it back to the commission. Just don't think, just talk.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
You bet.
I'd like to forward a recommendation of approval to City Council for the zone change for DSA 23-00199 from garden and light industrial to residential multifamily with the following condition of approval.
Okay, do I have a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldrat?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes?
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye. Sorry about that.
Chairman Benedict?
No fair getting snacks. Yes.
You have to share.
Yeah, bring them in.
Okay.
All right. I think we're on G5.
Yes.
Have a public hearing and consider a request from the Pinal Hispanic Council for a B3 zone property located at 312 East 3rd Street. Major site plan DSA 23-00137 and a conditional use permit DSA 23-00138. Jacqueline again.
Right. So the first request is for an 8-unit apartment complex that will include 1-bedroom units, approximately, studio apartments, approximately 318 square feet. This existing structure will remain on the site for an accessory use. This project also is requesting a landscape variance from the 15-foot 50-foot street frontage landscape buffer due to the downtown nature of the site. And the conditional use permit is needed because it's within the B3 zoning district, and residential uses within this zoning district requires a conditional use permit. Regarding the major site plan, I'll be covering these two requests or highlighted items. Looking at parking, per our new parking requirements, on-street parking can be used for half of residential development within the downtown land use category. So, per that requirement, they have to be within 1,000 feet of the site. So the total parking requirement for this site is 10 parking spaces, 5 of which will be provided on-site as shown, and 5 will be on-street parking that meets the 1,000 feet requirement. Regarding landscaping, there is a minimum of 10% open space per the landscape code. The site is providing 31%. The applicant is requesting a variance from the landscape code requiring a 15-foot landscape buffer. Currently, the landscape code does not provide an alternative landscape provisions for sites within the downtown area. This is addressed in one of the 2030 general plan goals and objectives for the downtown, and that is to modify the landscape code to create a special set of landscape regulations for the downtown to recognize the urban nature. Staff is in the process of revising the entire landscape code, and as part of that, downtown provision will be created to recognize this request. However, until then, until this is completed, and due to the fact that the applicant is providing landscaping along the frontage and within this site, staff is supportive of this request. And they are also, they're still meeting the required amount of trees and shrubs for the frontage, and then they also are including additional planting materials throughout the site. Regarding the conditional use criteria, this is covered in the staff report. I'll actually be covering the no adverse effect upon the abutting property as well as conformance to the general plan. That the proposed use will have no adverse effect upon the abutting property. Additional residential units are not expected to have adverse effect due to the downtown nature of the area. There is already a mixture of existing residential and commercial developments within the site, and that the proposed use shall be in conformance with the general plan. Again, the downtown general plan is looking to focus on reintroducing housing and residential opportunities within Casa Grande and to take advantage of the demand for desirable urban living and be proactive with infill development in neighborhoods near downtown. The applicant and staff met all requirements regarding notification efforts. I did not receive any inquiries or comments. So with that, staff recommends commission approve the major site plan, including the landscape variance request, DSA 2300137, and staff recommends commission approve the conditional use permit and associated resolution, DSA 2300138. Happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, any questions for staff? No. Come on, you guys letting them get away easy. Ask all these questions.
This looks like a good
fit.
A good fit, yeah. I'm really happy to see this. I think it's going to be great for the community and helping people get back on their feet. I'm really excited about this one. Yeah, we really need more affordable housing and rent, and this is a really good project, I think.
Can you go back to the parking diagram that you had?
Five on site.
So the R2 zone that's right there, is that built out?
Yes, there is, and I'm sorry,
Yeah, it's probably not the best picture for it.
I think it's him.
I had a
You had the big house
saving
and then empty.
issue, and I had to recreate this PowerPoint last minute. So the vicinity map's not showing, but yeah, there is an existing house on the east side of the property.
Okay, all right.
But it's all within the downtown.
There you go.
There it is.
So there, yeah.
Oh, so I was thinking like the front half of this is pretty empty.
Okay, great, thank you. No, I just was, I'm sorry I didn't pay better attention when you had this up. I was listening to, anyway. Any other questions for staff? Would the applicant or their representative like to come forward and address the commission, please?
Good evening. My name is Ralph Varela, CEO for Pinellas Planning Council, and my address is 858 East Shadow Ridge Lane here in Casa Grande. And
Any comments, Ralph, that you want to? Okay. Commissioners, any questions for me? No?
I did not. I just think it's a great project altogether, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna really do good for the downtown.
thank you so much, and we're really looking forward to it. And it does meet a need, and it's in the downtown area. And the great thing about it is that everything is located there. You know, you have all the amenities. You have the downtown. You have grocery stores. You have everything that you would want. So, and now with the new transit system, it really will allow all of that to occur.
Nice.
Very
Long
good.
overdue. That's
Absolutely.
what I think.
I'm glad you're doing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll open the public portion of the meeting. Anybody from the public like to address this issue, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting and bring it back to the commission.
Alrighty. I'd like to, staff recommend the commission approve the major site plan, including landscape variance for DSA 23-00137.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second to approve DSA 23-00137. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldred?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes?
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes.
Okay, and then staff recommends the commission approval condition use permit and associated resolution for DSA 23-00138.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve DSA 23-00138. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldred?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes?
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. All right, very good.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, G6. We'll have a public hearing and consider a request by Greg Davis of iPlan Consulting for a major general plan amendment. From neighborhoods to commerce and business, DSA 23-00160.
Good evening, members of Planning Commission. So, as you were presented 2 weeks ago, this is the second Planning Commission consideration of this item, as major general plans require 2 Planning Commission hearings. Although this evening you will be asked to make a recommendation to City Council. This is for a major general plan amendment request known as Peartley Point. And the area that is currently identified within the 2030 general plan is outlined in the purple on your screen. It's currently within the neighborhood's land use. And the major general plan amendment request is to change that area to commerce and business. A little bit of background on this request is it's currently not in the city limits of Casa Grande. There is a pending annexation. The annexation had its first public hearing at City Council recently, but there are several more steps in that annexation process to go. As you can see on the screen, the annexation area is approximately 218 acres, And the area on the west side of Peart is poised for a potential zoning request should the property be annexed into the city. And that zoning area will be known as Peartley Point. You can see the PAD boundary outlined in red. The proposed general plan amendment area sits within that. The PAD will be subject to future consideration, but just to give you a thumbnail sketch of what's proposed, is within this PAD, they're planning multifamily and commercial uses on the north side of the land, and that would stay within the neighborhood's land use designation, but they are proposing light industrial in the area that is subject to the proposed general plan amendment to commerce and business. Or, excuse me, a little bit of background with regard to the land use designations. Currently, the property is within neighborhoods, and there is a list of appropriate land uses, which include residential, neighborhood commercial office, etc. And there's certain appropriate base zone districts, but neighborhoods really wouldn't accommodate light industrial use. So the proposed commerce and business designation is more fitting. As you can see, there's a wider variety of appropriate land uses, including light manufacturing, business park, warehousing, and distribution. These are the very types of uses that could potentially go into that proposed commerce and business area. And just to inform you, there are certain general development standards that we look at when looking at sites that are developing within the commerce and business category. We would do that at the time of the PAD consideration and the major site plan consideration. But it does talk about there needing to be a maximum floor area ratio of 0.35. And it does encourage light industrial and office uses along freeway corridors. Although this site doesn't immediately abut Jimmy Kerr, it's fairly close and along one of the main entryways into the community. When looking at major general plans or amendments to major general plans, there is the need to address the 7 review criteria. And I'm just going to talk about the 3 highlighted ones. Although the first highlighted one actually takes you to 11 sub-criteria. So it's kind of a fun surprise when having to give that to the applicant to address. But I do want to talk about 2 of those 11 sub-criteria, which is community growth should be driven by industrial, corporate office, professional services, financial services, research and development, and similar developments which offer the opportunity for high-paying jobs. The ability to change a portion of that area from neighborhoods to commerce and business can help facilitate these types of uses, particularly industrial, corporate office, research and development. Another guiding principle within this first subset of general plan criteria is to support and strengthen Casa Grande's position as the industrial and commercial center of Pinal County. Another one of the criteria that I want to talk about is goals and action plans that speak to the request, and specifically goal CB-1 is appropriate here because it talks about developing economically competitive regional centers of commercial activity. The associated action step is to promote a wider range of uses than traditional commercial areas, including blended commercial and industrial sites, to prepare for changes in demand for retail and other commercial uses. Since this is going to be a part of a PAD, there's going to be a variety of uses. The southern part of Peartley Point will accommodate for light industrial, but also within that PAD boundary will include commercial and multifamily. With regard to land uses when looking at both neighborhoods and commerce and business, how much neighborhoods is going away in lieu of the commerce and business. We're just talking about an area just shy of 55 acres. So the neighborhoods category is losing 55 acres, commerce and business is gaining 55 acres, but when you look on the right, it's a very minimal increase and decrease in those respective areas. With regard to the public notification process, all major general plans go through a lengthy outreach process where we have a 60-day review period, which began in July. And then more recently, we sent out notification to owners of property within 300 feet of that 55-acre amendment area. And we had received several phone calls, but no particular support or opposition was expressed from those residents. So with that, staff does recommend that Planning Commission move to forward to City Council a recommendation to approve DSA 23-00160, this major general plan amendment to change the land use from neighborhoods to commerce and business. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for staff?
None.
Seeing none, the applicant or their representative like to come forward and address the commission.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, I'm Jason Sampson, Management Consulting, 317 South. The presentation was quite thorough. I know we were just before you a few weeks ago that had a changing application. We did have one gentleman attend the hearing. I happened to talk to him at the first hearing. He was, I think, with the first self-tire shop that's right next to my grandfather's old transmission shop. He didn't have any comments. He just was there for information. So we really welcome your support. We believe this is an opportunity to, as part of this overall project, an opportunity to master plan both commercial, residential, and employment components into a cohesive development that's all tied together once it comes to fruition. I think that's answer questions.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Commissioners? Thank you, appreciate it. Open the public portion of the meeting. Anybody from the public like to address this issue? Oops.
Oh, shoot.
Technical difficulty.
Always a technical
Good job,
difficulty.
Indy.
It was too quiet.
Okay, where are we at? Public portion of the meeting. Anybody like to address this issue? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting. Bring it back to the commission.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that the Planning Commission move to forward to City Council a recommendation of approval of DSA-23-000160, a major general plan amendment to change the land use from neighborhoods to commerce and business.
Very good. I have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldred?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes?
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. Thank you. Excited to move ahead. That's great. Pushing ahead? Pushing ahead? Yes. Continue.
Make a motion to take a 5-minute recess.
Oh,
Thank
there we
you. Please, thank you.
go. Okay, 5 minutes.
We don't need a motion, guess, break.
5 minutes.
Sorry, thank you.
Did you want to try it?
I was like, can I do it? I don't know. Thank you.
here, sorry guys. It is too. Might have to write it down. There you go, dear. Have a seat. Okay, so Saturday. Yeah, wherever you are. Oh, I've got a new phone. Can't believe all the trouble we had. Okay, I gave you an extra couple minutes, so call the meeting back to order, please.
Okay.
We're on item G7, I believe. We'll have a public hearing and consider a conditional use permit for a child care facility at 2024 East Florence Boulevard, DSA 2300162. Sam?
No.
There we go. Good evening. We're going to hold a public hearing, consider a conditional use permit, DSA 2300162, a request by Tim Hill for a daycare center at 2024 East Florence Boulevard. So here is the overview of on the right, you'll see that this is the old LA Fitness building off of Florence. The photo on the left is showing the inside of the building, some space that is important to the application. So this request is for a conditional use permit to allow for a child care facility at that 2024 East Florence Boulevard. This site was formerly used as a commercial gymnasium. It is now home to Crossroads Church and to Charlie's House. The Crossroads Church of Casa Grande would like to offer a daycare program for children with special needs. It's going to be Crossroads Learning Center. They will have 2 4-hour sessions available, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. The Learning Center will supplement the services provided by Charlie's House, which is currently located within the Crossroads Church building, and will be a learning-based daycare inclusive of children with special needs. Due to state licensing regulations and the absence of an outdoor playground, the applicant will be offering a maximum of 4 hours per day per child. Many of the clients in therapy at Charlie's House need childcare either before or after their therapy hours, and due to parent work schedules and other considerations. So conformance with city code, daycare centers involved in the care of minor children shall provide, first requirement is a minimum of 75 square feet of outdoor play space per child, and of that 75 feet, 50 of it is required to be fenced. So this is, our applicant has been issued a variance from both the Arizona Department of Health Services and a variance with the Casa Grande Board of Adjustment that removes this requirement for the outdoor play space. The requirement for outdoor play space has been replaced with the provision of increased indoor play space. And at least 250 feet square feet of lot area per child shall be provided is the second requirement. This is a fairly large site. It is comprised of a single lot with 3.3 acres. Lot area is adequate to support a daycare of 585 children. The applicant is proposing to care for a maximum of 60 children based on the provision of 4,500 square feet of indoor play space. Staff finds that this use meets all the requirements for a daycare center per the city code, sections are 1728030A1, sections A and B. And then there's conformance with conditional use permit review criteria, that the site for the proposed use is adequate in size and topography. The applicant has an approved variance from both the state agency that permits daycares and the Casa Grande Board of Adjustment, allowing this daycare facility to operate without meeting the outdoor play space requirements. Sufficient indoor play space has been provided, and the childcare hours will be limited to 4 hours per day per child. With these practices in place, this criterion has been met. The second item, that the site for the proposed use relates to streets and highways, adequate in width and pavement type to carry the quantity and kind of traffic generated. Streets and highways are adequate to carry the quantity and kind of traffic generated for this use. Number 3, that the proposed use will have no adverse effect on the abutting properties. Staff believes that there should be no adverse effect on the abutting properties. We also believe that due to the nature of children and being outdoors, that this may actually be less of or provide relief from the noise that can be generated to surrounding neighbors. So we think this is actually a beneficial change in this case. That the proposed use shall be in conformance with the general plan. The general plan designation for this site is community corridor, and the zoning for this site is B2, and a daycare center is a conditionally permitted use in the B2 zoning. So this criteria has been met. And finally, the conditions stated in the approval are deemed necessary to protect the public health, safety, and general welfare. Staff is recommending the following 2 conditions: that childcare services will be limited to no more than 4 hours per child per day, and a minimum of 75 square feet of indoor play space per child be provided. And with the imposition of these 2 conditions, staff finds that this criterion is met. Public notification, the city has met all of the public notification requirements. Newspaper posting, posted a sign, and mailers were sent out. Staff has not received any comments or questions, concerns about this application. So at this time, staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the conditional use permit and associated resolution DSA 2300162 for a daycare facility with the following conditions: that the child care services will be limited to no more than 4 hours per child per day, and a minimum of 75 square feet of indoor play space per child must be provided. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff?
I do.
Yep.
What is the average age of the children in the daycare? Sorry. Do we know?
I do not have that exact number, and I believe that the applicant is in the building, and they should be able to answer that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, would the applicant or their representative please come forward and address the commission?
Hello,
Hi, please give us your name and address for the record.
my name is Dawn Dietz, 8318 West Switchback Trail, Casa Grande.
Okay. And can you address that question about?
What is the age group that you're?
3 to 5 year olds.
And what is the Charlie House?
Charlie's House is a therapy center for children with autism.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I was just making sure. And then how are we ensuring they're only going to be staying in, like if parents are going to be, if this is a daycare, normally parents are leaving their children for at least 8 hours. So where would these children be going the other 4 hours?
It's just offered as a half-day program. We don't offer a full-day program. And the parents will be notified in advance of the requirements as set forth by licensing. We just simply can't keep the children any longer than 4 hours.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything you'd like to tell us? Anything else you'd like to tell us?
The childcare facility itself will have regular learners, and we're offering our services to not only children with autism, but other special needs children. Our hope is that the special needs children will learn how to interact in a regular classroom setting, and that the typical children will learn patience and empathy. There will be opportunities for mentoring the other children. So we think it's a win-win for all of the children.
So if you have mentoring, what ages of the children would be mentoring? If they're only,
They'll be mentoring each other.
they're each other. And then what type of license do you have?
It's just a license from the Arizona Child Care Licensing.
I guess my question is, and I guess I don't understand, because all our preschoolers, even if they're in the church preschool or a preschool, they all have to have outdoor playgrounds, and I just don't understand how we can not have an outdoor playground for these children, where everybody else has to provide a outdoor playground.
Everybody else typically has to provide an outdoor playground because they're offering full-time care.
Correct.
The concern is that the children would be inside, not getting large motor development for 8 to 10 hours a day. Since we only have the children for 4 hours a day, and we have an inside gymnasium, we have opportunities for them to get large motor development, but they're with us such a short amount of time. Developmentally, they don't need any more than that.
Because when I was reading this, it sounded like you had 2 separate classrooms. So they would go to one classroom, and then they'd be shuttled to another classroom.
The typical learners would be in the classroom for the full 4 hours. The special needs children would come in when their therapist deems it appropriate. If an activity or an learning experience is happening that they feel that would benefit their child, they'll bring them in for portions of that time.
Okay, so the typical child, how long is the typical child there then?
4 hours.
Any other questions? Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public like to address this issue, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public portion of the meeting. Bring it back to the commission.
I'd like to make a motion.
Love it.
I recommend that the Planning Commission approve the conditional use permit and associated resolution DSA 2300162 for a daycare facility with the following 2 conditions: about the 4 hours per day and the 75 square feet of indoor play space per child.
I have a motion.
Second.
What? Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldrete?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
No.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Thank you. Appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Number 8. We'll have a public hearing and consider a request for a conditional use permit for 2,400 square foot accessory building at 960 East Trailblazer Road, DSA 2300131. And Sam, back again.
All right, well, just to kind of reiterate what you just said, yeah, we're here to hold a hearing and consider conditional use permit, DSA 2300131, a request by Terrence Feller for a 2,400 square foot accessory building. Here is a site plan. On the left here is kind of a top-down view. The new accessory storage building is going to go here, just left of the main residence. And then on the right-hand side is the frame of the proposed structure. Terrence Feller is requesting a conditional use permit to allow for a 2,400 square foot accessory structure at their personal residence at 960 East Trailblazer Road. Per city code, detached accessory structures over 675 square feet require a conditional use permit. The proposed accessory structure meets all requirements for an accessory structure over 675 square feet in an urban ranch zone district. Conformance with city code. Detached accessory structures, uses, and equipment in residential zone districts shall be subject to the following development standards. We're going to be looking at 3 of them today. The first one, accessory structures, uses, and equipment shall comply with the front and corner side yard setback required for the principal structure. The proposed accessory structure meets 20-foot front yard setback requirements. The accessory structure is approximately 93.5 feet from the front parcel boundary. The second item, accessory structures, uses, and equipment greater than 12 feet in height shall comply with the rear and side yard setbacks required for the principal structure. Again, this meets all side and rear yard setbacks, as it is set back 31 feet from the side and 151 feet on, 31 feet and 151 feet on the sides, and 54 feet in the rear, where 10 feet on the sides and I believe 20 feet in the rear is what is required. And then the final one is the total building footprint area of all accessory structures located in the required rear yard shall be limited to no more than 25% of the area. I'd like to recall I guess it was a couple months ago, we had another one in here with this, where this requirement came up about rear yard versus rear yard setback. In this case, the accessory structure does not take up more than 25% of the rear yard, and it does not take up any of the rear yard setback. So this meets that requirement either way we interpret that. And the proposed accessory structure conforms to all zoning requirements. And then we have the conditional use permit criteria. The first one being that the site for the proposed use is adequate in size and topography. The lot size is 1.33 acres and will easily accommodate this accessory structure. So this criterion has been met. The site for the proposed use relates to streets and highways adequate in width and pavement type to carry the quantity and kind of traffic generated by the proposed use. So the proposed use will not generate any additional traffic beyond that generated by the single-family home, as it is designed to be a private garage for personal enjoyment by the homeowner. However, it appears that this parcel was created without the benefit of a subdivision plat and resulted in a situation where no right-of-way was dedicated nor street improvements made for Trailblazer Road. Additionally, no drainage improvements were made to retain any of the developed flows created by the home construction on the site. These infrastructure requirements will need to be addressed prior to the issuance of a building permit for this new accessory structure. So with that, this criterion has been met. The third one is the proposed use will have no adverse effect upon the abutting property. As discussed before, the construction of this large accessory structure could potentially have an adverse effect on abutting properties unless the additional developed stormwater flows are appropriately retained on the site and are not allowed to flow onto adjacent properties. And then the proposed use shall be in conformance with the general plan. The site is within a rural category of the general plan and conforms to the goals of this land use designation. So yeah, this criterion has been met. And finally, that the conditions stated in the approval are deemed necessary to protect the public health, safety, and general welfare. Staff is recommending the following conditions: that the maximum size for the accessory structure shall be no larger than 2,400 square feet, that the structure shall not be utilized nor improved as a second dwelling unit or as a home occupation unless otherwise specifically authorized via a separate approval process. The architectural style, building materials, roof materials, and color of the structure shall match and complement the existing home and garage. The structure shall not exceed the height of the principal building residence. Any utilities running through the site or any utilities that need to be relocated for development of the site must be placed underground, and development of the site shall be in accordance with all conditions of approval and any applicable city codes, including but not limited to those codes related to street right-of-way dedication and the half-street improvements and provisions of drainage retention facilities. With the imposition of these 6 conditions, staff finds that this criterion will be met. Public notification, we have met all of the required public notifications. Newspaper posting, sign, and mailers were sent. There have been no inquiries or comments about this proposal. And then at this time, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the conditional use permit and associated resolution DSA 23-00131 for an accessory structure subject to the following conditions that were just previously mentioned.
Okay.
And I will gladly answer any questions.
None.
Done.
Okay. Would the applicant or their representative like to address the commission? Okay. I'll open the public portion of the meeting. Anybody from the public like to address this issue? And I'll close the public portion of the meeting. Bring it back to the commission.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit and associated resolution DSA-23-00131 for an accessory structure subject to the following conditions.
Very good. I have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Member Aldrete?
Aye.
Member Vanderhayden?
Yes.
Member Hubbard?
Yes.
Member Peters?
Aye.
Member Estrada?
Yes.
Vice Chair Garza?
Aye.
Chairman Benedict?
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, reports from the planning director.
Thank you. So under administrative approvals, we had a few. We had a minor amendment to the major site plan for Verizon Sun State for an access drive to a cell tower. Minor amendment to major site plan for Lucid for the addition of wastewater pre-treatment system. Minor amendment to major site plan for Abbott for the addition of a wastewater pre-treatment system as well. Minor amendment to the major site plan for Rihanna's Mexican to add a drive-through window. Secondary driveway permit on Nova Court. Secondary driveway permit on Fairlane Court. A few Board of Adjustment decisions that two that you heard tonight on the actually for the Tim Hill for the Crossroads Church for the outdoor play area, and then also one for Timothy King for a front yard setback and parking for a new single-family home that has a lot of challenges in the lot due to a skid canal, so we provided some relief was provided for that. So also for corner side yard setback for a new single-family home on the south side on a very small lot, and also for a new wireless facility on Colorado Street. City Council took action on a number of Planning Commission recommendations. They approved them all, looks like. So that was good. And on our building reports, I provided the building reports and the planning applications. Just looking at this, I note that in the calendar year to date, looks like we've permitted about 1,800 new dwelling units. Looks like we're gonna probably hit around 2,000 new dwelling units permitted by the end of the year, which I think might be an all-time high for Casa Grande.
Nice.
So we are continue to permit and construct a lot of new dwellings. The build to rent are pretty much equivalent to the standard single family, and then the apartments are a little bit higher at 700, and 85 new manufactured homes as well. So the residential building activity remains pretty strong in the community. I'm hopeful that for our next planning commission, that the staff will present a little study that we're working on regarding the housing need and supply for Casa Grande, to give you a sense of what we think the housing needs are to meet our growing population, and what our supply is that we've already granted zoning approvals for, or major site plan approvals, and how that supply meets or does not meet what we believe is the need. So we hope to provide that presentation and analysis to you at our next meeting.
Great.
And
That will be great.
that's a wrap.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Third.
Do I hear a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned.
Oh, yay.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Thanks a lot.